Welcome back to Cooker Like Crawley. I'm Chef Liam Crawley and this is quick 30-minute meals. Now today I'm going to show you a beautiful recipe that I love cooking when I'm in a rush, when I'm in a hurry and you know, I've got back from work late, I'm filming late and I just want to get dinner on the table. Now I've done a couple of little things in advance and that's cook a little bit of rice, but whilst you're cooking this dish you can certainly get a pot of water on and cook some rice while you're cooking to achieve this cracker of a recipe in 30 minutes. Now, I've got an array of ingredients here. I've got a gorgeous piece of rump from my good friends at Crawley, Cook the Natural Butcher here in Sydney. You can find their locations just about all over New South Wales, up north in the city, and they provide this gorgeous Tovo Platinum beef, which is grass-fed, grass-finished, perfect for you and goes great in this recipe. And today we're going to be using rump, and that now you can use eye fillet, you can use sirloin, but today I'm using rump because it's full of flavour. Now the dish that we're going to do is a beautiful Crawley style crispy beef with a beautiful pepper sauce. We got some beans which we're going to throw through it, and I picked up my beautiful veggies again from my good mate Mo down at the Sydney markets from MD Fresh. Absolutely beautiful and fresh produce for this recipe, and that's what it really needs. You want freshness when you're cooking a dish like this. So with our crispy beef, we've got an array of sauces here which we're going to put through it, and we've got a few lovely herbs that we're going to add to it as well. So let's get cooking. So to start off with, I'm going to take this gorgeous piece of rump here. I'm just going to take all the fat and sinew off of this rump, nice and quickly. Remember not to cut yourself at home, and that it's one of the many kitchen accidents people have regularly, and that's whilst cooking dinner, a trip to the hospital to get stitches. So we're just taking the fat off this rump. Any sinew, any silver skin which you see, gets quite chewy, so we don't really want to add any of that to it because you just want to get those bits of beef and just put them straight on down. So we're getting all of this sinew off and we're just about ready to slice it. I'm very lucky because I'm a butcher, I know where to cut it. Now if you're in a hurry and you don't really like cutting all the fat and scraps off your beef, I know a lot of people at home don't. They're like, oh, why would I want to do that? But all you have to do is ask your butcher and they'll gladly do it for you. So we've got these lovely little square pieces of meat here, which we're just going to cut into smaller pieces. So we've got these beautiful thin crispy strips which you're going to crisp up in the wok and they'll be absolutely delicious. So I'm going to cut it really thin. We want it to cook really fast. When cooking a stir fry at home, stir frying is in the wok fry, not stew. So everything we put in, we want it nice and small, we want it to cook nice and fast, and dinner's done in a jiffy. I've got it in a bowl here. Now what we're going to do, just to get started, whilst we're getting all of our other ingredients prepared, I've got some premium dark soy here and I'm just going to put in about 2 tablespoons worth, just so we can start marinating that beef. I'm also going to season that beef with some pepper as well. So you're going to get a good healthy whack of black pepper in there. There we go. I love pepper in the stir fry. It goes perfectly with beef, perfectly with lamb. So we've got that in there. I'm also going to add a couple of tablespoons of corn flour as well. Now the corn flour will help with thickening the sauce at the end, but it'll also help the beef to go nice and crispy whilst we're cooking it also. So we've got our beef in the bowl, and we're just going to get that nicely coated in the soy, in the flour. And the beauty of using corn flour is it's gluten free as well. So for any of you that are celiacs or anything at home, this recipe is absolutely brilliant because it's completely gluten-free. Some of the Asian sauces, you want to just check on the bottle first when you're buying them that they're not, haven't got gluten in them, but most of them these days come gluten-free, so it's great for everybody. So we're just going to give that a nice mix, and we're just going to let that sit off to one side and marinate for the next 5 to 10 minutes whilst we're getting the rest of our ingredients prepared. So our next step, I've got a pot of boiling water behind me, and I'm going to show you an easy trick to top and tailing beans. Instead of standing there for hours chopping each end of the bean, a good way is to put a good stack of them in your hands, bring them together, put the palm of your hand out and just drop them, and just keep dropping them down until all the ends are completely together at the end. So let me just grab a knife here, so then we can just take the ends off one end, and look at that, done in a hurry. And we just do the same to the other end. We just wiggle those beans down, give them a wiggle, that's it. And then we can just take the ends off our beans at the other end as well. So I'm just going to give them light blanch, not too much. I don't want to cook the crap out of these beans. I want them still crunchy because they're going to get stir fried back in that wok and they'll be absolutely delicious. Pop them in the water for about 2.5 minutes. So the next step to cooking this beautiful stir fry, we want to prepare the rest of our veg. I've got half a brown onion, I've got 4 garlic cloves, I've got some red chilli, and I've got a nice pepper here, a nice capsicum. So first of all, I'm just going to cut my onion. Now, another trick when cutting onions, we have all these lines around the onions. Now, if we follow those, starting from the outside and working our way around, following those lines, going through, keeping our knife on the angle of the onion as well, right the way through each line, like so. We then cut back the other way and we get nice diced onion. And I'm only going to cut half an onion today because I feel that's all we need. So we've got our onion, we'll just push that off to one side and that's ready to go in the wok when we start building our sauce. So we've got our onion there. We've also got our cloves of garlic. Now, the easy way to get the skin off of garlic, it can be such a task watching people peel garlic sometimes. It's like, oh, you're doing it so long, it's taking forever. But the easy way, whack it under the palm of your hand, bruise that clove, and look at that. Presto. Our garlic is peeled. Instant. So fast. Who would have thought? So, we just want to roughly chop up this garlic. Garlic's done. So push them off to one side. Keep it all separate as well because it will go all into the wok at different stages as well. So next up we've got our capsicum. Now when chopping a capsicum, I want to slice it nice and thin. I want to keep a bit of freshness through it because it will be a little bit spicy. So we want that nice capsicum flavour through it, which is still nice and fresh. So when slicing a capsicum, we've got the stalk here. Now, inside of that stalk, we've got the pips. So a good way to cut it is to just go around the capsicum, see? Just like so. And then we're not getting all those pips in our capsicum that's left on the stalk. How good is that? How cool. So we're just going to slice these up into nice strips. Now our beans are done. We want to still leave them just a little bit under because we still want that crunch. And as I say, when we cook them too long, we just cook all the nutrients out. When they're too soft, you're pouring all the nutrients down the drain in your pot of water. Why do that when we're eating vegetables? We want to get the best from our veggies, especially when they're so fresh. So we've got our capsicum, our garlic, our onion, and last of all, we've got a runaway chili. We've got our chili here. Now, a quick way to be able to de-seed chili as well is to just take both ends off, just like so. Slice it down the guts, straight down the middle, and grab yourself a teaspoon. And then all you have to do is just pop the teaspoon in between, wiggle it down, just like so. And there we go. All of our seeds out of our chili. If we leave the seeds in there, it's just going to make it far too hot and not palatable. It's going to give it a bitter taste, and it's something that, you know, we really don't need in our stir fry. So with our chili, I'm just going to cut them into more manageable pieces so we don't cut ourselves and we get a nice even slice on it. And I'm just going to slice them into matchstick sized pieces. And then we can dice it back the other way. Now be very careful, curl your fingertips up when cutting the chili because it can be very easy to slice your fingers. So we're cutting those into nice little matchsticks here. And remember guys, go and wash your hands when handling your chili. The next thing you don't want is to put your fingers in your eyes the next minute you're crying for the rest of the evening. So we've got our chilies in matchsticks pieces here, and we just want to dice it really, really fine to the same size of our garlic. Just like that. As I'm cutting all these veggies and the garlic and the chili and the capsicum, I can smell the beef marinating. You can really tell that all these flavours are going to go together and it's just going to be like, wow, delicious. So we've got our chili there, and that's our vegetables done, all ready to go. How quick was that? Our beans are already draining, they're already cut, they're ready to go. Our beef's been marinating, and we can get ready to start cooking. So we're going to bring a wok up to a nice high temperature. We want our beef to be crispy. We don't want it to sit there stewing in its own juices. We want it to be as crispy as we can get it. So because it's been in the bowl, in the corn flour, it has got a little bit of moisture still left in it. So I'm just going to add a touch more corn flour and give it a really good mix. Now the other good thing about using corn flour, you can use potato starch. Plain flour can be a little bit hit and miss. The best thing about coating your beef is when that beef goes back into the sauce, that sauce is going to thicken up and it's going to stick to that beef absolutely beautifully. So just going to get that beef, those beef strips incorporated through the flour, and now it's nice and coated in the bowl, ready to go into a nice hot wok. So what we're going to do, we're just going to get it up to heat, and I've got some sesame oil here. The wok's already smoking, and get it nice and hot. We want a good amount of sesame oil in the bottom because we want to kind of deep fry the beef, and we want it to cook extremely fast. We want the edge of our pan to be really, really hot and it to be really smoky. Now, the reason we use sesame oil or peanut oil, you can even use macadamia oil, oils that have a really high heat when stir frying. If you use an olive oil, it can sometimes be a little bit too cold and not get to the heat you actually want. So we're just going to start dropping this beef in and starting to fry nicely. Just going to get this beef beautiful and crispy now in the pan. It's already starting to colour up already. As soon as it's nice and crisp, we want to remove it to stop the cooking process, and we'll re-add it back to our sauce afterwards. It's just about there. Now our beef's almost there. It's crisping up absolutely beautifully, and it hasn't got that long to go. You can really see how quick this dish actually is. If you cook them for yourself, quick. If you've got friends over last minute, real fast and delicious. I've just prepared myself a bowl with a bit of absorbent paper in there just to get all of that sesame oil off the bottom. And I might actually give it a quick strain first before popping it into a bowl. And there we go. So we've got our crispy beef ready to rock and roll. So we can just whack that off to one side. Now I've just given my wok a nice wipe out just to get all of that flour out of it, all of that real heavy oil which we've just browned the beef off in, and it's ready to go again. So we're just going to let that come back up to heat, and we're going to add a touch of sesame oil. Now we don't need to go berserk on the sesame oil now because we've got some through the beef. We're also going to add our sauce ingredients. So to start off with, just going to get that warm, and we're going to add our onions first. And then we're going to go in stages. We'll add our onion, we'll add our capsicum, then we'll add our garlic, we'll add our chili, and then we'll start making our sauce ready for our beef to go back through. So I'm just going to throw this onion in. And when you put stuff into a wok, you want to hear that sizzle straight away. You don't want it to not sizzle when it hits the wok, otherwise it's still too cold. So in goes our onion. Our onion's started. Now we're going to add our capsicum. Now we don't want to cook our capsicum for too long, only a little bit. We still want to keep that nice freshness, that crunch in our stir fry. There we go, delicious. That smells absolutely beautiful. Doesn't matter if you get a bit of burnt edges on your veggies as well, adds to the flavour. There we go, veggies are starting nicely. We've then got our garlic. We're going to throw our garlic in, and now our flavours are really going to start building in that wok. We're just going to stir fry that garlic in with our capsicum and our onions. Now remember, stir fries are meant to be fast. They're not meant to take forever. They're meant to just go into a wok and they're done. There's nothing better when you're hungry going to a Chinese restaurant and your food's on the table as fast as you order it. Quick food which kept fresh and done nice and fast. Next I've got my chili here. So I'm going to add my chili to the wok. It's like painting a picture. Every stroke we're building those flavours in this book. Started as a blank canvas, now we've got some colour on it. So everything's sautéing really, really nicely here. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more black pepper. Just like so. Now we can start adding the rest of our ingredients. So what I've got here, I've got 2 tablespoons of dark soy. We're going to get that in there straight away. I've got some fresh ginger, about a tablespoon left. We want to keep that ginger nice and fresh, hence why I never chucked it in there when we first started. So we've got our soy. Next we've got a tablespoon and a half of hoisin sauce. Gives it that nice sweetness. We've then got a teaspoon of chili and garlic paste here as well. Delicious. Here I've got a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and I've also got a couple of tablespoons of stock as well, which will just thin out the sauce in the pan, bring everything together, make it nice and saucy for us to chuck our crispy beef back through, and we're just about done. Those flavours, absolutely beautiful. Cannot tell you how good this kitchen smells right now. Now I've got myself a spoon here. We just want to taste it just to make sure all those flavours have come together well. Beautiful. With a good piece of beef. Nothing better than this sauce with some nice crispy beef through it. And how long has it taken us? Stuff it. So, if your sauce is a little bit too thick, you can add just a touch of water to it just to thin it out a little bit. I like to stir fry a little bit saucy. I think everybody likes it a little saucy. And we'll just get that back up, and then we can throw our beef in, and dinner is done. Now last but not least, we want to add our beans. Reason why they're going in at the end is we already pre-blanched them, already started, so we really don't want to have them overcooked in the sauce by the finish. So we've chucked those in, and we're about 1 minute off from plating up. So we are ready to put this gorgeous beef. Better just try some just for tender, tasty. Doesn't get any better than that. It's like being back at a Chinese restaurant having dinner. So just gonna throw our beef. Back into our sauce. Last bit for the chef. Yum. And we just toss that through. Now, I've got my rice that I prepared earlier. Just want to spoon some of this on a plate. I've got people coming around tonight, so we're going to feed them up well. Can sit in the middle of the table and everyone can help themselves. Get that rice in there. Just like that. And then this lovely stir fry. Absolutely gorgeous. Over the top. Chili, that onion, get it all on the plate. Doesn't get any better than this. Smells gorgeous. So just got a little bit of fresh coriander here. I'm not going to use much. Some people don't like coriander, so we're just going to chop a little bit here. Scatter a bit of that around. Smell that freshness. And we've also got some sesame seeds. You get those sesame seeds over the top. Give it a little bit of crunch. Yum. And then I've also got here just some spring onion, just to freshen it right up, finish it off, because it is a little bit spicy. We're just going to chop that up into nice small pieces. Gotta love a bit of spring onion on a nice beef stir fry. So there we have it. We'll sprinkle a bit of that over the top. And wow. I couldn't serve dinner to my guests without a touch of garnish over the top. Got just a little bit of micro coriander here, just to cover up those edges. And there we have it, guys. A beautiful, crispy beef, black pepper stir fry, done in under 30 minutes at home. Absolutely gorgeous. I really hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I do. Follow the links from our YouTube channel, Cook It Like Crawley, quick 30-minute meals, and go to Chinese black pepper stir fry, done Crawley style. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next episode. See you later.